Linda's Pat Sloan here. We have a lot of different things today, including our Block Wednesday festivals and fireworks. We're on week number 2. But first I want to talk about something else, and reason why I almost didn't put this in. I almost didn't talk about this part of what I'm doing, because when I do, and I'm going to be very, very honest here, when I share my quilts that I'm giving away and that I still own, I get a lot of negative comments. Believe it or not, I do. People seem to feel like I should not be able to own my own quilts, and that it is wrong for me to have them, and they tell me about it, which I find extraordinarily bizarre. So I've been a little reluctant, but my channel, my videos here are all about what I do and being honest with you and showing you what's going on. So hopefully you are not one of the people who feels that I don't deserve to own my own quilts, because you'll see that I own them, but I also give them away. So today I have got 77 quilts that are going to be going this week to charity. 77 of the 800 that I started with 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I did a video, which I'll link below, which shows all of my quilts. Actually, I'm just going to link you to my gallery because you can watch it there. And I brought them all down to organize and start dealing with them, because being a business means that I've had to make a lot of things. I've written 30 books. I've been published a zillion times. I've done zillions and zillions of quilt-alongs. And so I produce a lot of quilts. I can make 100 quilts in a year. And so 800 quilts later, now I am working on bringing that number down that I keep, because I don't need them now. You know, I'm not reusing them for things I don't need them. But it's a slow process. It's not something I can just overnight pull everything and go. I have to be sure of what I'm doing. I have to be sure that I no longer have a business need for those projects and all that good stuff. So here are another 77. Now there is a whole stack from this pink one down. That is 29 pieces that are fairly small. Table runners, small wall hangings. I'm very lucky to work with some local friends that have different organizations that will take those and basically either decorate with them for their facility, like at rehab facilities, nursing homes, senior centers, whatever, or they have like places where they have like gift shops that they can put some of them in and use them that way to raise funds for whatever that gift shop is working towards, you know, like supporting the hospital or supporting, you know, some other function. So the small ones are finding homes, but they are harder to find homes for. You have to have very specific groups that are looking for that type of item to carry or have. But the other ones are all usable. From some are wheelchair size, you know, that they're smaller, so they're probably wall hangings that I designed, but now they're a good size to put just a lap quilt for the wheelchair. So also I wanted to show you over the last few days what I have been doing. So let's take a look. Well, let's go take a look at what I've been doing for the past, I don't know, 3-4 days. Is I have been working on the quilts on my bookshelf out here, being sure that I had taken off things that were ready for charity. I resorted what was on here. Like, these are my current books, quilts for the current books that are in publication. These are things that need binding. Yes, not all the way down, but almost. I've got my own publications all across the bottom. My books, magazines I've been published in. And then over in my storage room, that are known as the dining room, I worked a lot in here. Now, about 2 years ago, I know many of you were with me, you saw me bring down all of my quilts. Hear the sound change? It's like deadened in here because they're so much padding, so much padding on the wall with the fabric, you know, deadens the sound. So I brought down, Greg and I decided to bring everything in our home that's quilt related down to this room. So I had 2 levels of shelving, like this one was over here, then I had against the wall 2 more. And so over the past 2 years I've been working to gather quilts and to be which ones will be going to charity, have to work through that, resorting, finding new homes for things that I'm not using anymore. And so, and now over the past weekend, we had loosened things up enough. See here, and go out to my kitchen, out to my studio. So we loosened up enough so that I could now get everything against the wall. I can use my credenza top. I have got the Destiny quilt machine here, Baby Lock Destiny, and my Baby Lock Tiara is up on the top, so if I need it, got the embroidery unit stuff. You know, I just don't have space. I have a small house. It is very, very hard to run a business in a small house. So this is the room now, and it feels so much better. I can come in and move around. We can actually use the dining room again, but it's been a long 2 years to get here. Now I am still having to reduce the quilts because I don't, now my business model, my business and how I work has changed, so I don't need to keep them for the business anymore, and they can start all going to charity. So they are primarily quilts that were published in books and magazines, and then lots and lots of our sew-alongs. We do lots of sew-alongs, so I produce lots of quilts for that. So I still have, let's see, even over here, like work stuff, and then these are small quilts and pillows, and then down there are another set of quilts. So still a lot to go through, but it is shaping up and looking so fantastic. I hope you enjoyed taking a look at my life and a little peek into my home, into how I have to work in a small space with a business. I hope you enjoyed seeing that. I hope that it is a positive thing for you to view how I handle what I'm working with. Maybe it'll help you look at what you have and how you might be working with your, you know, tools, your finished items, your unfinished items, whatever. Hey, you know, it is what it is. This is the way I am. Now, because I'm giving quilts away in like large chunks, I really can't show you every single one because it would be, you know, days of videos to stand here and hold them up. But I am going to hold up a few of these so that you can see them and tell you about them. You know, it doesn't do me any good to just give one quilt to somebody. I have, to get from 800 down to a more reasonable number, I have to give away groups of them, you know, 50, you know, 70 at a time. I can't really just do, you know, 2 or 3. Eventually that's where I'll be when I make something, and then I'll gift it, you know, soon after maybe. But anyway, so let me just show you a few of these before we go on. So this is one from very, 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 very long ago. Whoops. It is called the Morning Glories. So it's an applique. So in the beginning, when I started designing, and I did primarily applique quilts, and so this one is hand appliqued. See, so pretty. So it is basically a wall hanging size, and then I did a little table, a little pillow. Was it a pillow? No, it's just a little wall hanging out of it with embroidery. Okay, this one's a little bit bigger. It was done to showcase my fabric line years ago. So also baskets with applique in them. So this was very fun to do. I really enjoyed this quilt. It has my fabric on the back. So maybe one of you made this even. You could share it. Okay, what else do I got? Let me just show you. Here is a log cabin variation that was in one of my books. So the book had multiple, you know, it had the same quilt twice so that you could see it in 2 different colorways. And then on the back are my batiks. This is all batiks, and I did like a strip down there. That's kind of fun. It's an easy way to sort of bridge 2 different fabrics and have a little bit of definition to it. So many quilts. Okay, here's one that was, I think, published in Fons and Porter magazine, and I believe it was done as 4 parts. So like for 4 issues, there was 1 block. I believe that's how that one was done. You know, so I did tons. Oh, the back is just pieces of beige, different beige sewn together. For many, many years, my primary thing I did was submit and have magazine work. I had tons and tons and tons of magazine work. So there was always lots going on. Here's one that was done just for me, just for fun. And it's time for it to have a new home. It's a good size piece. It could be great for, I think, a kid's quilt. I was just playing around with sort of improvisational work, which at that time was not called that. It was called like modern quilting, you know. And then here's the backing on this one. And I have enjoyed it. And now it can go out to a new home. Okay, let me show you two more. Show you another applique. This is was done, I think this was done with like Ellie Sienkiewicz fabric. And it was just so fun. It's based off of an antique applique block, very folky, published in magazine. And here was the beautiful fabric on the back. Look at that. Look how pretty that is. This red fabric was just so lovely to work with. Okay, all right. So we have a lot of other things to cover today. Maybe tomorrow on the video I'll show you a couple more, and then maybe a couple more up until like this. See how many videos I have done before the people start coming to pick up the quilts. And I'll show you some other ones. Okay, let's get on to the festival and fireworks. Now I have to move all this. So if you want to see 77 quilts being given to charity, there you go. Okay, I'll be right back because I have to go put them away. Time for festivals and fireworks. So our block today is actually the border that goes around. So this is one of the sections. So after, I'll step back. So after this, they're all two color blocks, a background and one color. That's the way I did the rest of the blocks. But we got all kinds of colors going on here, and the instructions, let me just put this up here so we can see. The instructions, you're going to know that there is an inner border, which I have cut, but I don't have it up there. So I wanted to show you this kind of in the parts. And so there is an inner border, and then this will go on the outside, and then you'll have the top part. So let me just put them all up there, and then I want to talk a little bit about the festivals this week. The festival food has to be the best food, right? You get food on a stick, all kinds of food on a stick, which always fascinates me because for some reason I kind of missed that until later in life that went on at carnivals. Maybe the carnivals I went to didn't really have that. One of the things that I do remember as an adult going to a festival was getting some fries at a stand, and Greg and I went to eat them. And we were both like, what is this? And we looked at they were orange. Well, we didn't realize we'd gotten sweet potato fries. And that was the first time I'd had those. But I wasn't prepared for them. So when you're not prepared for a certain flavor or texture in your mouth, it is a shock. Okay, so our pattern is a multi-part entity. And I'm going to go to the other side of the table. And let's just talk about it because there's, 3 different ways of making triangles discussed each week, and I just want to remind you again about how everything is laid out. For this for this Block Wednesday, I am using a pattern written by the Fat Quarter Shop. It is written for using triangles on a roll. So the papers that they produce. And so the whole thing was for you to practice triangles on a roll, get used to them, making this beautiful quilt. And then of course their first page had their schedule when they ran it, but we're not using that schedule. And we've already done the first center block, which ended up like this. And now we were on the border. After that, the regular blocks. So it's really cool. We got the big block done and the border done, and then after that we just do the single blocks that go all the way around, which are super fun. So there we go. That's what we'll be working on each week. For the rest of the weeks, we'll do the same block, usually 2 times. I think there's one that is still slightly different. But for the original document, it tells you like rectangles to cut so that you can do your triangles on a roll. So that, and then they tell you how many you need of everything. And there are letters up here for color, like fabric orientation, what you're looking at. And so that I tried to use as I go to the next, my companion sheets, the same lettering and give you that. So you basically have have to end up with 72 half square triangles. That is the goal. 72 half square triangles, 4 corner squares, and then you have sashing, and the sashing is the same, you know, way you cut it. And so here are the triangles on the roll. You know, here's one that I've already, you know, sewn to show you. I showed you that demo last week. And if you are going to be making them with this, you'll be pulling off the units and working on them. Now, I do want to tell you 2 things. One is that the triangles on the roll are on sale for this month at the Fat Quarter Shop. So perfect. So if you have not bought any and wanted to try them, you can get them on sale. And I think they have a kit that goes with this, that is all the ones that are being used. They also have these great stickers. See the sticker here? So that you can close them and they don't tear the paper or anything when they come off. So this is, they call it washi tape stickers. Somewhere they say that, and it has the size number, so whatever size, like this is a 1 inch finished on here, so you just use the proper one, so you know, like here's a 3 inch, and then it's great. These are fabulous. So if you are using these, you really need to get a sheet of these at the same time. Okay, so now we are going to make the same number of triangles no matter what method you're using. So this is the triangles on the roll, is the original, and so you'll be using that direction for how many you need. And then there is cutting. So my companion, I have some information on the front talking about the what's your favorite food for the carnival, and then on the second page I have got cutting half square triangles, you know, 2 at a time, and then using a ruler or on your AccuQuilt and telling you the dies that you need. And so I'm listing the fabrics using the lettering they have over here. So basically there's a background and a color. That's it. And I am using 4 colors. Let me just move this from under there. So I'm using 1, 2, 3, 4, and then repeating 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, and then it'll, you know, go down the other side. And then I made all my corners the same, but you could do, of course, you could do them scrappy or whatever. You can make all of these scrappy if you're using like a whole different bunch of fabrics in your quilt. You can make all of these scrappy, but I am using 4. So let's just look at the color placement. What I have is dark teal, light teal here, and purple, and then the black. And the black is the cornerstones, black on each corner like this. So there's 2, and then a black one in the middle of each side. So that means on each side there's 1, 2, 3 black, but then there are 2 aqua, 2 purple, or 2 light aqua, 2 purple, and 2 dark purple on each side. So that is how I laid out the colors for this. Using the cutting method is at the top. So if you're just going to cut and use like a trimmer tool like this, you will use this section right up here. If you are doing the AccuQuilt, which are the die cuts, then you will use the section down at the bottom. And because there is more of one of the colors, so you'll have to have more of the 3-inch squares and of that color. The background is all done first up here. And then you would then use the second sheet when you're doing the ruler cutting and do squares, draw a line, so cut down the middle, press it open, and trim with the ruler. When you're using the AccuQuilt, there is a die. And you can use either a die that does just 2 at a time, or you could do one of these multi-dies. Whoops, get it out of here. There we go. So the multi-die that I like will do a whole section of them. So you'll want to put a sheet of light and printed fabric, you know, background printed fabric, and you can stack, you know, 6 of them on here, and then you'll be cutting, get a thread. So you'll be cutting like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you'll get 12 sets that you will just go to your machine and sew after that. And everything is laid out here to show you what colors to go together. So basically you have 72 half square triangles you're making no matter what, and it just depends on what method you're using, how you go about layering and cutting the fabric. Okay, now I also want to tell you that our ambassador Kendall on his YouTube channel, Kendall Taylor's channel, he is also sewing along and showing you some alternate ways to sew these, like flying geese and sew and flip techniques that you can use. So if you don't want to make them all with half square triangles, so there you go. You can go over and visit with Kendall and see what he has on his channel. And so this week you'll be doing all the solid, you know, color inner borders, and then 2 sections with no squares on the end, and then 2 sections with a square on the end, and then you can sew it all together. You know, so that's where I'm at now. It's gonna take some pictures of this, and then I'll sew them all together. Okay, I also have a mail call. Let me just show you that. This is sweet. This is just so sweet. This is from Wanda, and Wanda's from Oklahoma. And she sent me a photocopy and then wrote me a note of a poem that she wrote. It's a cute. But the thing is, she was 13 years old when she wrote this, and she just discovered it again. So she told me I could read it. When you wrap yourself up in a quilt that someone made for you, each stitch of thread surrounds your heart, and it's the love flows through. It represents the countless hours someone thought of you, who knows what prayers on your behalf are included in it too. The time, the cost, the energy it took to make just so is priceless compared to the value of the love for your soul. Wanda, age 13. Isn't that beautiful? Wanda, you are a very beautiful person to have written something so thoughtful and sweet at age 13. And thank you so much for sharing with me and my community. I enjoyed it immensely. I'd never heard of a quilt when I was 13 years old. I didn't hear of them until I met my husband Greg and his family, which had quilters. Okay, so she sent me a few goodies, some cute fabrics. These are sausages. Oh my goodness, so funny. I love it. Sausages, and then the meat store. My granny worked for a meat packer, and she worked at the deli and the farmers market for the meat company. So this is very near and dear to me. Some other cute fabric. Look at this with the plants. Look how cute. So cute. And the words. I love words. Ballerinas. So sweet. And some veggies. She got some veggie fabric. That's so cute. And then she found, she had cute little tea towel, and some gummies. Oh my gosh, I got an array of gummies. There we go. Aren't they good? They've got the ice cream, the sharks, and the starfish. I love them. Thank you. Okay, we're going to wrap up. The last thing is, it is scavenger hunt day, and so show us your ruler storage, how you store your rulers, because that's one thing everybody wants to know about. Mine are just stored all over the place. I don't have one spot. I just have them in multiple places. I've showed you that many times. So it's nothing exciting. Some are right down here on the floor. There you go. Those are the ones I use the most because I can reach them, because this is where I stand to cut. So they're just right down there on the floor. Okay, that's the scavenger hunt. You're going to do your festivals and fireworks, and tell me about your favorite food when you share your strips. And I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed seeing my quilts that I'm going to be giving to charity, and how I'm working through that process of what I have created over 30 years, and where I'm going with the quilts and how I'm going to disperse them. So, it's been a journey, and I hope you enjoyed me sharing it with you. So anyway, I love you. Mwah. Thank you for being here in the Sloan Zone. I will see you online.